Good morning, welcome to yet another Nuts and Knuckleheads video. And as usual, one of the fleet needs something doing, so let's dive into it. It's my 2018 Dodge Ram 1500, and it's been absolutely bulletproof for the last 5 years. But now it looks like the AC compressor clutch is gone. So this is about trying to repair that and replace it, and we'll see how it goes. See if it's as easy as the YouTube videos tell us. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're looking at. First part is take that tensioner off so that the belt can come off. And then that beastie down there is the AC clutch that needs to come off. Have all the parts ready to go. This should fix it. According to the thing, it's about 10 minutes. My guess is it's going to be a lot longer. All right, sit rep. After having wrestled with this thing for an hour and a half this morning with the most stupid stuff, as in I couldn't get the bolt out, which in the YouTube videos takes you 3 seconds, and because of that I was trying to get the belt back on to be able to hold the wheel in place, but of course the belt doesn't want to go back on, which is a weird thing, but I'll deal with that later. So what I've done is I've put it up on ramps, and I can get to it all from underneath. It's actually quite well laid out under there, so I'm hoping to make some progress. I've already got the offending bolt out. Now I've got to start working with the circlip pliers to be able to get 2 sets of circlips out. And from there, it's the question of putting the new thing in. I'm going to check the electrical connector first though, just to make sure that everything is right before I start stripping this down. So this is the new part, well actually several of the new parts. This is the electromagnet that sits in there. This is the electrical connector that I'm talking about. This is the main drive wheel. And this would be one of the main friction plates that has to connect with the flywheel. So all of that needs to go on. I've got new clips and bolts, so it's time just to get on with it. So this is what it looks like from underneath. As you can see, there's the wheel, and now it's time to get moving. And of course the last 2 times I've been under here, I've been banging my head on that, so I'm going to try not to do that this time. Well, about 3 hours into this, which should have taken 10 minutes, remember. And quick situation report. So we got the mold one off, the pulley, the electromagnet, all the various bits, and was just about to put the new one on, and this happened. So as you can see, the pulleys are completely different size, the bearings are completely different size, and the magnets do look similar, but the connectors at the end are absolutely completely different. So it's one of the hassles of ordering stuff from Amazon and eBay, so now I'm going to have to go back to them and send this all back. Meanwhile, my truck's going to be laid up. Great. This really is pretty normal for the course, to be honest. Should have known better than to expect it to be like 30 minutes. But hey, there you go. At least now we've got the thing off, and if I can order the new part, it should all go back together. Let's hope that I can get the belt back on eventually, because that was going to be one of the biggest things. But anyway, now I've got it up on these ramps, it should be okay. But we'll find out. Stay tuned. More from Nuts and Knuckleheads. All right, Nuts and Knuckleheads. Part 2 of the Ram AC clutch replacement. Had to wait for a week or 2 to get the parts back in, and get the opportunity to actually put them on, because there's been a storm in the middle. But it looks like Saturday morning's the time, and we're going to get on with it. So this is the new unit. Looks exactly the right size. That's good. And we've just been collecting a few tools to be able to take down with it. We're in the old belt, and now it's time to get on with it. So looking at it from the top, this is what I'm dealing with. There is the compressor. there is the hub that I've got to put the various clutch components on, and right at the minute I'm wrestling with that circlip that I put on there just to test it. So now I've got to take that off, put the magnet on and put that circlip back on. Sounds easy, right? Watch this space. So after about a 20-minute struggle, now what I've figured out is that this circlip needs to go on that magnet, and so obviously the circlip pliers have got to go in there to be able to expand it. Problem is, these circlip pliers will only go that far, and they twist also. So it's proven a real bind to get on. So what I'm going to try and do is go to Lowe's and see if they've got any bigger circlip pliers, because I can't for the life of me figure out how to do it otherwise. Right, so after much struggle, I managed to now get that electromagnet ring on with the split ring, which holds it in place. And you can't really see, but that black bracket right there, it's actually rusty, but I gave it a quick coat of black paint, and that is the bracket that holds the connector. So now that is all connected as well. So stage one done. Oh, while I was down there, I did have a horrible thought that the compressor might have seized, because the old ones looked really melted. So I threw the new one on that central spindle and spun it, and it was spinning real freely. So it wasn't that, it was the clutch. So let's get the rest of it on and see where we go. So the next step is to get this puppy on that shaft. And that's it in place. Slid on perfect. Right, I have to wrestle with the second snap ring, as they're called over here. Circlips, to those of us in Europe. Right, well, that's the friction plate. But the problem is, this thing is supposed to, this is driven by the belt. And this thing, when the electromagnet comes on, brings it slightly further in, the friction plate's engaged, and then that engages the spindle in the middle. But the problem is, if I tighten this up, this whole thing spins. So there's some shim washers in there somewhere. That I've got 2 in there already. I've got to put some more in by the looks of it. Fun. Okay, so got that on. There were 4 little shims that had to go on the other side of that bolt to space it out, because otherwise it would all rotate as one. And that rubber component that's there is the bit that actually flexes with the electromagnet. So once the magnet's turned on for the AC, that'll pull that towards the friction plate, and that's that rubber that will allow it to spring back when the magnet's not switched on. So it's pretty imperative that that's there, and that was one of the bits that had completely failed in the old one. Now, as you can see, I've started to put the belt back on, which is fine apart from that. And that is going to be the next big thing. So there's 2 jobs left. That, and just tightening up that bolt, and then everything should be fun. And so, with an ingenious use of levers and a torque wrench, I actually managed to get the belt back on, and it turned out it was relatively simple. So, time to start it up, see if it works. And now we have lovely, gorgeous AC back again. So I'm just sitting here cooling off in the wonderful AC that we just fixed. And yeah, another example of the few good tools. You can do a lot of these things that would charge thousands for in the garage. All good stuff on Nuts and Knuckleheads. See you next time.